quite a big mouthful to eat first thing in the morning. I just predict it. Ooh, I've made granola. It'll be a little bit too early for them to come out, but it won't be long. I'm sure you'll all agree just how stunning it really is. So muddy down here today, I love it. Today is very much an orange juice type of day. Garam masala is a spice that has no limit. We are definitely getting longer days. Good morning and welcome back. Hope you've got yourselves a super cozy drink and that you are at home and ready to settle in, because today I'm just looking out of the arch window and out of the kitchen window this morning. We have got the most gloriously beautiful winter's day today. Woke up this morning to a freezing frost. It's currently 2 degrees, but the winter sun is up in the sky. The clouds are disappearing, the sky is blue, and it is one of those very cold winter's days.
A look at the weather. Dry with bright spells for England and Wales, some wintry downpours possible for Scotland, and cloudy in Northern Ireland, highs of 10 degrees.
I have been really looking forward to today because it's very much a cozy day at home. If you caught up with my last vlog, you'll know that I spent a lot of time in the kitchen really thinking about bringing fresh produce into the home, as well as stocking up our pantry cupboards and our pantry drawer. And I have put aside today to really focus on some wholesome, nutritious, delicious recipes for GB and I to enjoy over the next few weeks. And I thought you may like to come along today, see what I get up to in the kitchen, but also just spend a very cozy day at home. There's also lots of housework to be getting on with, and because it is so beautiful outside, I am hoping that around lunchtime I can get out for a beautiful winter's walk. You never know what the weather's going to be like in England. It's very changeable and we could have rain any moment, but at the moment it is gloriously sunny, and fingers crossed it stays like that for today. GB and I were up quite early this morning. It does feel like very early promise of spring this morning, I have to say. He made me my first coffee of the day today. So nice when someone else makes you a drink. It almost tastes different in a way. Well, his coffee did taste different because he'd sprinkled it with just a little bit of chocolate cocoa powder on the top. So it did make that first coffee of the morning an extra special treat. There's going to be lots of time for us to catch up over the course of the day, but I am going to start with my first recipe, and I'm going to start with a granola. So we often have a granola in the pantry drawer. So I have a pantry drawer in the kitchen, and it's got things like porridge oats. Well, actually, it's things like these glass jars. I've just pulled these out because these are things that I'm using today. So I've got oats and flour, pasta, nuts, more nuts, sesame seeds, sunflower seeds. In our pantry drawer, I just have lots of dried goods, and it really does help just being in the drawer right there. I was explaining on my last vlog that I often move the coffee bar out. So normally, as you know, it will sit along the back. When I am having a homely staying at home cooking day, it's better for me to have the bench here. It's almost like a preparation bench. And then I have got my workspace, I've got my cooker, I've got my drawer where all my spices and my herbs and my pantry jars are. I've got my like staple cupboard here of, you know, chopped tomatoes, chickpeas, sweet corn, coconut milk, just a few things that I can see there. Putting on my apron and just being in the kitchen, honestly, it brings so much joy to me. I'm just going to grab the oats because that's what we need for our granola. One of our lovely subscribers messaged recently to say that she had found her old apron and she has started to wear it while she's cooking, and she agrees. When you are in an apron, it means business. You actually do enjoy cooking so much more. I will, of course, pop all of the recipe details within the description. We're going to start with 3 cups of rolled oats for our granola. I never worry too much about quantities, to be honest. I just go for it. One quarter of a cup of honey. I've got a half cup here, but I've only filled up halfway. Oh, lovely. It stores for around 3 weeks. It won't last that long. You'll need 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. I like to add cinnamon in mine. I'm going to put a little bit of cinnamon in there. As I say, I don't really measure that much, and GB and I love warming taste like cinnamon. Let's grab a knife for the butter. So around 1/4 of a cup of butter. We are using the new French butter that they've got in Aldi. Absolutely delicious. And it is one of those salted butters. So I'm not going to add any salt to this, but you could add just a little sprinkle if you want to. If you're not keen on butter, coconut oil works just as well. This is the basis for the granola. You could easily put this into a food processor just to combine everything together. But I am old-fashioned and I am doing it all by hand with my whisk today. But I do want to add just a few bits just to make it a little bit more interesting. So I'm adding some dried fruit. Just going to take a little bit there. I always feel like adding some dried fruit, cranberries, raisins, gives a little bit of colour and depth and almost makes it feel rich and jewel-like. So we'll pop those in there. It's one of those dried fruit packs that has walnuts in it, but I'm trying to avoid walnuts because GB is not keen on a walnut. I love a walnut, especially if it's on a coffee cake. To this granola, I'm going to add some cashew nuts. So GB may not be keen on walnuts, but he absolutely loves cashews. I'm going to chop these up a little bit in my pestle and mortar. I do like to chop these up so they're not a whole cashew, because that can be quite a big mouthful to eat first thing in the morning. We often have cashews out as an evening snack, or maybe something mid-afternoon if we just need a little bit of a pick-me-up. Have you noticed how the beautiful daffodils are starting to come out? I think this variety is called Tete, if I'm saying that correctly, and I have literally used all the containers I possibly can. I popped onto Instagram actually that over the weekend GB was searching the apartment high and low for a coffee cup. It got to the point I said, "What are you talking about, GB? Are you talking about this cup?" I think he was a bit surprised that I was using our favourite coffee cups for daffodils, but you have to use what you have to use. Right, this looks ready to go, and it also looks delicious. There's going to be washing up galore today. We're looking for the pieces starting to stick together. Smells amazing. I think it must be the vanilla essence and the cinnamon in there. Let's bring you nice and close and then you can see what it looks like. If only you had smell-o-vision, you'd be wanting to make this straight away. Can you see how the pieces are just beginning to combine together? The idea is that you don't over combine it because you don't want it to be glamorized oats. You want the pieces to stick together. So if you feel that you may need to add a little bit more butter or honey just to get the oats to combine slightly more, then do. This is such a goodness breakfast that butter and honey are just little extras that will help to make this more delicious. I am going to add just a little bit more butter in mine. I think maybe I had over 3 cups of oats today, just over, and I think it probably needs just a little smidge more butter. Definitely better with a little bit more butter in. You're looking for consistency where you've got some of the oats that are stuck together to give it that granola texture. I've now got 2 baking trays that I've already lined with some grease-proof paper. Let's just put a little bit of butter on there just so that nothing sticks. Now it's time just to sprinkle out the oats. I'm using my very clean hands and I'm just going to sprinkle across the baking tray. Oh, it smells so good. On a batch cooking day, you just know that the kitchen is upside down, and I love a kitchen that is upside down. It makes it a very much a lived-in kitchen, and you just know that you're providing goodness for the family when your kitchen is a mess. I'm going to put my granola into the oven for around 20 to 25 minutes on 180 degrees Celsius. I'm going to check it halfway, stir it up a little bit, and we're looking for golden, not brown. I don't want to burn this granola. You have to really watch it because sometimes the top can burn if you don't keep an eye on it. So I'll pop the timer on. We'll get on with a little bit more housework, I think, and then we are going to move on to our second recipe of the day. Oh, I've caught it just in time. I'll show you what I mean. It's definitely time to swap them over. I've just mixed this one back up. This is going to go on the bottom shelf, but it doesn't need much longer at all. The bottom one, however, does need a little bit longer, so it's worth swapping the shelves over. It's looking delicious. GB is working at home today, so I have said to him, shall we have this for our lunch? Maybe with some fresh yoghurt. I'm not sure what fruit we've got in. Let's have a quick look and see. Oh, lovely. We've got some blueberries. Let's get the blueberries out. Blueberries and an apple with our granola. It's a little bit later on now and home smells of washing. The sense of fresh linen through the home. I've put the washing out in the bedroom. I've opened the windows so everything is blowing in the winter sun today. I don't think they'll take too long to dry actually in there. It's a bit of a sun trap at this time of the day. The sun tends to go over the apartment, so we're self-facing, which means the sun at the moment is in the main bedroom, which is great on washing days. I've popped all of the granola into the granola jar, and I had a quick look in the fridge and found some blueberries and also some fresh apples that I picked up on my recent weekly food shop. So I thought GB and I could have granola, fresh yogurt, berries, maybe a little bit more honey just to drizzle on the top for our lunch today, although I think we'll probably call it a brunch, let's say. I do have just a few moments though to start my next recipe. This recipe involves sweet potato, so I'm currently cubing it into smaller pieces, and today I'm going to pop all of my ingredients into my slow cooker. So this can be done on the stove or alternatively in a slow cooker, or I think if you're Americans, do you call it a crock pot? Let me know. I think it is a crock pot, isn't it? The pot actually says crock pot on it. But in England, we definitely call these the slow cookers. What I'm going to be putting in the slow cooker today is the ingredients for a sweet potato and chickpea curry. This recipe requires 1 large sweet potato, and again, I'll pop all the recipes into the description so that you can refer to it. And I like to cube my pieces quite small. With the sun shining today, hopefully you can see it out of the window. There's blue skies, although it is still very, very cold, and they have said that temperatures could still get really low. We are not through winter yet, although there definitely are signs of spring, as we all have seen them, and including them in the home, like with the daffodils, just brings so much promise that spring is on its way. Making some really delicious, wholesome recipes this time of year sort of gives us a little bit of a refocus, ready for the spring. We tend to not need so much bulk or stodge during the spring months.
All right, Nigella.
We really both do enjoy delicious food that is home cooked, that you can go to the freezer on an evening where you don't want to cook, but you know that you're eating goodness, because when you cook a meal for yourself, you know exactly what's gone into it. And I think that's why we both really enjoy good home cooked food. Let's get that into the slow cooker. Pop in some garlic, as much garlic as you like. I would say I'm popping in around 3 garlic cloves. This garlic we bought from the farm shop, and it's so much stronger smelling than the ones that you buy in the supermarket. And then you will need 1 onion. This is when I will start to tear up, I'm sure. I always do. So far, no tears. That's not like me. It's such an easy recipe for those of you who spend a lot of time at home, or if you work from home, it's something that you could put on at lunchtime and then it'll be ready for the evening. We quite often will make this and then pop it into the freezer. Oh, my eyes are going. You'll also need 1 can of tomatoes, 1 can of chickpeas that have been washed and drained, 1 can of coconut milk. Tikka this one is. I'm going to put in a tikka paste. I often buy them in the little pots actually. I find these really useful. So that is probably around maybe 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of curry paste of your choice. Quite often we'll like korma or tikka masala. That one I think is tikka masala. Half a cup of vegetable stock, 1 teaspoon of cumin. I just predict it. 1 teaspoon of turmeric. If you wish, you can give the onions a little bit of a head start just by frying them. I sometimes don't do that, especially if they have been cut really, really fine, like what I've done today. I've literally just put everything straight into the slow cooker, and it'll be on for around 6 to 7 hours low. Let's give this a good mix up, pop it on, and then we can start getting our little lunch brunch ready. Hello, love. If only you could see what he's doing behind the door there. Come on, love, let's get some lunch. I've made granola. Ooh, I've made granola. So,
Granola.
Do you want to know what's in here, or are you quite happy just to go for it? Just go for it with your spoon, love. Or shall I just tip in?
Tip her in. Tip her in.
You tell me when. Oh, it's not going to be much left, is there? That's it. Thank you. Slightly different to the recipe I've done before. So oats, butter, honey, cinnamon, vanilla essence, dried fruit, nuts. Yeah.
Lashings.
I might go for a walk after lunch.
Do it.
I'm gonna.
Is this honey? Is this sweet?
It's got honey in it. See, if I don't think we need any more, but we may do. Not sure. It's not overly sweet.
No.
I think it's nice.
It's lovely. It really tastes like vanilla.
I need a teaspoon. Guess how much honey you think was in that whole jar? 1/4 of a cup's not very much for all of that.
Oh.
The lunchtime washing up can wait. It's more important to get outside and get some fresh air. I was so looking forward to this walk, and the sun is still shining. I don't know if you can see how glorious the sun is. It is beautiful down here at the moment. I am pleased I've got my wellies on. I'm struggling to walk through the mud. Everywhere's having work. I'm gonna go off centre. Take a look around. Just through that gap there is quite often where you see foxes. These branches here, they look like they've been grouped together, don't they? I'm so nosy. Or have they come down? I really don't know. I'm right off track here. Let me come back this way. You see what I mean? No, somebody has cut all this back, haven't they? Yeah, it's definitely been cut back. Can you see the steeples through the trees there? That's of one of the local churches. Little daffodil bulb there. A few more there as well. Probably a little bit too early for them to come out, but it won't be long. It does appear as though work is definitely happening. I have mentioned to you before, our area is so well looked after. Where we went for our winter's walk on your last vlog, that area was really well looked after too. Beautiful dog, going crazy. Can you hear the ice cream van? I'm a bit confused. We're in February, but the sun is shining. It's not all that warm, it's 5 degrees. But in the distance, it's definitely an ice cream van. Sounds of your childhood. A lot of you will know that I have a favourite tree, and I haven't been to check on it for a while, so it's standing there, very, very proud. It's that tree just there. Can you see where it's shining with the sun? I was just wondering whether any spring buds on the tree. Let's go and take a look. This is the tree just here, and you can see the sun shining beautifully, helping those spring buds come out, I'm sure. We're keen to find out a little bit more about why this tree means so much to me. I'll pop a link up somewhere so that you can just have a little watch. This tree is incredibly special. It means so much to me. I'm quite close to it now. Wow, the shape of it is just outstanding. As a child, if you were going to draw a tree, you'd want it to look this perfect. The other reason why I love this tree so much is it's a very seasonal tree. I'm sure you'll all agree just how stunning it really is. My favourite tree is showing signs of spring. Can you see the little buds there? More little buds on this tree. Let's have a little catch up because I've not seen you all since Saturday. You will be watching this on Wednesday and today is Monday. It really does feel like it is the start of a brand new week, and with the weather being like this today, it's hard to believe that there was a thick frost this morning, but there was. And that's the thing in England, you can just never tell. Is it cold out? It's 5 degrees like I mentioned. It's not freezing out. I haven't got a big jumper on. I'm just thinking where to go. Should we go this way? Yes, lots more work is happening over here. And on this tree is something that I was learning about on Gardener's World. Isn't that beautiful, that trunk? So they were explaining on Gardener's World that if you want to cut a tree back, they said about the right time of year, and obviously I'm no professional about the right time of year, but if you keep it as smooth as possible without any raggedy edges, it will be less likely for the tree to get diseased. And no need to paint it, Monty Don was saying. You don't need to paint the top. Leave them exposed, but really nice and neat. Isn't that just beautiful? Some logs over here. They must be maybe from the tree that you've just seen cut down. Just centre of the screen now, you'll see a little bird box. You often see those around here. A few more trees down here have been cut back as well. Look at all the bird houses on this tree. I did say to you it's not too cold, but actually it is right now. My hands are frozen. Definitely not in spring yet, but it is coming. That sunshine, hazy winter sunshine. I'd love to know how you are. What have you been up to over the weekend? Do you have any plans this week? I know that so many of you have had snow, and actually one of our subscribers said that they had snow over the weekend and they don't live too far from us. They live in Norfolk, which is about 2 hours away, I would say. I did have my fingers crossed that we would get some, but we didn't. Who knows though, we might get some more snow before the winter's out. You just honestly can never tell. Never ever tell. It's so muddy down here today. I love it. Please, I put my wellies on though. Oh, I just went sliding there, slip sliding. This here is another one of my absolutely favourite trees, and in the autumn it looks beautiful. Can you see the huge bird box on there? Blue sky today, isn't it absolutely stunning? For us, the weekend went by in a flash. I mean, I'm sure it's the same for everybody. You wake up on a Saturday morning and you think, oh, we've got 2 lovely days. How are we going to spend them? And then before you know it, it's Sunday evening again. I had the most wonderful surprise on Saturday. My 2 stepsons joined GB and I for breakfast. It absolutely made my weekend. You know when you have really proud moments of your family? Well, I had several proud moments of my family over the weekend, and it makes me feel so blessed that I have those boys in my life. I am very, very lucky. I'm a lucky stepmum. My eldest stepson and I had all of the pancakes, and GB and my younger stepson had some sort of egg and bacon stack thing. But we was all very, very happy, caught up with a few friends and then headed home. Saturday afternoon, we chilled and just pottered around the home. I love nothing more than to potter around the home. I was wondering whether to, wow, all of the daffodil bulbs are coming up over here. Wow, I slipped sliding, but this is totally worth it. All of these are daffodil bulbs, and I've noticed at the top third there is one little daffodil out. Come on, let's go and see what it looks like. There we go, the first daffodil. This is going to be a sea of yellow. Maybe over the next couple of weeks. It won't be long and they'll be out. I've pretty much had Gardener's World on back to back over the last few weekends. Not to watch episode by episode by episode religiously, but just to have the sounds on in the background. On Sunday, I joined what I think many women in England were doing over the weekend. I went to the cinema with my girlfriends to watch the last instalment of Bridget Jones. Well, we think it's the last one. It was amazing. I am not going to say anything on here about it because I don't want to ruin it for you if you have not yet seen it and want to. But let's just say the film has left a very powerful message. We feel so connected to Bridget because she is around our age and experiencing life alongside our lives, and to see how she is coping in her life, particularly in this fourth one, was just so powerful. Lots of birds, so special. They all seem to be coming out for spring. I've really noticed this last few weeks when I've been out on my walks. The birds seem to be getting much, much louder. We do have a lot of birds around here. Well, you would imagine so, being in the middle of a nature reserve. So muddy. I'm literally squelching as I go here. This is exactly what Wellington boots are for. It's still gloriously sunny outside. I haven't been in from my walk for very long. I can't believe how muddy it was though. I think it was the muddiest walk I have ever been on. Actually, as I was coming out of the nature reserve, there was two young teenagers, a boy and a girl. They're probably on half term, and I can just remember that sort of feeling of meeting somebody when you're that age and going for a little walk together. Anyway, I said to them, I don't think this is the most sensible way. Look at your trainers, they look too white. I said, and look at my Wellington boots. And they were both so pleased that I said to them, it's very, very, very muddy this way. I said, your best bet is to turn around and then walk along the main pathway, because unless you want to look like me and my wellies, you're probably better to do that. And also, your trainers just look far too good. I think I probably... Did I regret it? I enjoyed it whilst I was squelching through the mud, but not when I got back home. And I was able to get one Wellington boot off with the other welly. But then what do you do to get the second Wellington boot off? So I have one very, very muddy sock. But it was worth it to go out there and just feel it today. I really often like to go out for a very early frosty morning walk, but because the sun was out today, just made me feel like I wanted to go and embrace it at lunchtime. And I'm really, really pleased that I did that. When you go out at different times of day, everywhere looks different. The sun was over my favourite tree today, and to see those early spring buds arriving and those daffodils, I will definitely keep an eye. I'm not sure if I've missed the snowdrops down there this year. I think we're probably coming just out of the snowdrop season now and moving more into the daffodils. I cannot wait for the daffodils to come along our balcony. I looked this morning, they're still very much shoots, but we are full of daffodils in the kitchen. Do you remember me showing you these absolutely beautiful little glasses from Poundland? £2 each, and I just love them so much. They're gorgeous. They are perfect for a little glass of orange juice. Today is very much an orange juice type of day. Let's have a quick look at the sweet potato and chickpea curry. Wow. Wow. I'm going to give that a good stir and bring you over so that you can see. Oh, it's looking amazing, isn't it? Smells so good too. This next recipe is also one of our favourite dishes, especially one that works really well in the freezer. Just means that all the ingredients sort of infuse together. This is a take on a butter chicken. That means that GB can add meat if he wants to. I can add a meat substitute, or I can add chickpeas or prawns, whatever I like, to my butter chicken. Start by frying off one onion. You could easily do this one in the slow cooker as well, but the slow cooker is being used, so I'm just going to cook this one up on the hob. We love a curry in our house, and we found that once you've got your basics, your garam masala, your turmeric, your cumin, so many curries have those same ingredients. I did buy some ground coriander when we were food shopping last week, and that was because I knew that this recipe needed it, and a few other recipes that I've found recently say the same thing, so I thought that would be a great pantry essential. This is the curry butter sauce, so of course you need a good dollop of butter. That's what I'm going to fry my onions up in, and I'm going to make sure that this is really, really hot to start with. Who does the cooking in your house? Are you somebody who likes being in the kitchen? Do you batch cook like I am today? There's nothing I love more than being in the kitchen, cooking away. Once the onions are nice and hot and they are frying away, add 1 can of tomatoes. Late than never, this is my garlic. I should have put this in before my tomatoes, but never mind. Time for some spices. First up, it's 1 tablespoon of garam masala, although I never measure it, to be quite honest. And I was listening to a chef recently on the television. I'm sure I've said this to you, and they explained that garam masala is a spice that has no limit. Just go for it. It's the spice that gives the curry its depth and its warmth. So around a tablespoon, but don't worry if it's a little bit more. Oh yeah. Ginger is next. Around a thumb's worth of ginger. Cumin. Around 1 teaspoon of cumin. Bit too much, but that's okay. A teaspoon of turmeric. A sprinkle of chili flakes. I'm not going to go too heavy-handed on this, just that would be enough. Nearly forgot the teaspoon of ground coriander. You can see I'm not too strict with the order that things go into the curry. Once they're in, they're in. I'm going to let those spices just infuse for a good few minutes, then we can add the remaining ingredients. This is just such a delicious dish. It's such a great one to have in the freezer if you're inviting guests around last minute. It's an easy one just to pull on. You can always whip up a quick lentil dal and you've got yourselves a meal. With it being a buttery sauce, there will definitely be a little bit more butter to come. I'm going to have a little bit of a tidy up in here. I did know that this was going to happen. The kitchen on a day like today, it just gets so untidy. Right, this looks ready for the next lot of ingredients. So into my pan, I'm going to put 1 can of coconut milk. That will make it really creamy. Now 2 tablespoons of honey. Wow. Get all that honey out of there. And 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. I can't wait for you to see what this looks like now. Come on, let's go through and get a few more jobs done, and then it'll be time for an afternoon cup of coffee. This butter curry sauce looks amazing. Even if I do say so myself, would you like a closer look so you can see what it's looking like? And then I'll share with you a little dinner setup that I'm going to do, because I'm going to use my coffee bar today. We had lunch in the kitchen. Don't feel like we're going to have dinner in here as well. To be honest, it's a bit of a mess in here, which I really do need to get tidy. But I've got a little idea for the coffee bar in the main room today for dinner. The table's set ready for dinner, and we're definitely going to have this butter curry. GB will fry up some chicken, and I think I will have some prawns with mine. And I am going to blitz up some cauliflower to make cauliflower rice. So I'll share that with you in a moment, because I had so many questions about that over on the channel as well as on Instagram. It's one of my most common cooking style questions is, how do you make your cauliflower rice for your curries? Honestly, it's so easy. So I'll share that with you. I don't know if you've noticed, but the sun is absolutely glorious this evening. It's 4:20 and it's probably getting dark now. I would say 5:15. So we are definitely getting longer days. It's been absolutely glorious seeing the sunshine today. It's so bright that it's actually quite blinding, but I'm not here to complain about that. I'm going to show you just how easy cauliflower rice is. And honestly, it's so good with a curry and such a great rice substitute. Really healthy. And I'm wondering if you will be converted like we are. Even if we order an Indian takeaway, one of us will quickly blitz up cauliflower because we know it gives an extra vegetable to our main dinner, but also it's just delicious. All you'll need is some sort of food processor. We don't have a big one, we just have this smaller one, but this works fine. Right, this could not be easier. All you need is your cauliflower. I've got a few bits left over because I made cauliflower rice with salmon yesterday. So just cut it up into smaller pieces. I would say 1 head of a cauliflower is a good portion for a meal for 2 people. Put the pieces of cauliflower into your food processor. You don't need loads to start with. And honestly, couldn't be easier. All you then do is blitz it up. I'll empty this out and just keep going. This is how much cauliflower rice is made from 1 head of cauliflower. Honestly, there is so much, and I would love to know if you do give this a try and what you think to it. I'll see you again on Saturday at 4 o'clock. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Please do keep in touch. I love hearing from you, and I will see you on Saturday. Bye for now.